Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5 p.m. For the record, Mayor Sol is unable to attend and Councillor Hunt is participating by Zoom. Item number 2, can I get a mover to adopt the agenda? So, Justin, seconder.
I'll second.
Resolve the council adopt the agenda as presented. No one has any additional items to throw in today? All in favor?
Reading the acknowledgement.
Aye.
We're going to move to item number 3, which is the planning hearing process. You want to do the acknowledgements?
Sure, okay. I would like to acknowledge we are on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Cree, Dakota people. We acknowledge this is the birthplace of the Métis Nation. We respect the spirit and intent of treaties and treaty making and remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration.
Thank you, Councillor Marecki. We'll go to item number 3, which is the planning hearing process. Welcome everyone to the planning portion of our meeting. The hearings will proceed as follows. Mr. Santan Singh of Red River Planning will present the application. The applicant will make a presentation on their application. Those in support who have signed in will make their presentation. Those opposed who have signed in will make their presentation. The applicant will then have the opportunity to respond to comments or concerns raised by council or any of the presenters. At the end of the presentation, council may ask for clarification but will not enter into debate. All persons speaking must address the chair, and once the public hearing is closed, there will be no more presentations accepted on the matter. Be resolved that council hereby open the public hearing for the following planning applications scheduled for February 14th, 2023 at 5 p.m. Variation order number 129-2022 and variation order number 3-2023. Can I have a mover, please? Seconder. Chris?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Santan Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Council. If you would just allow me to share my screen, I can start the presentation. This is variance application VU 129/2022. The subject property is located at 37 Palmer Road. The applicant wishes to vary the combined unit area and the height for an accessory structure in the seasonal residential zone. This is the variance request table. As you can see, the applicant wishes to increase the size from the required 1,200 square feet to 1,396 square feet and increase the height from the required 15 feet to just under 18 feet. This is the location map provided by the applicant. As you can see, the subject property fronts Farmer Road. This is the site plan provided by the applicant. The applicant wishes to establish a 1,200 square feet garage right here. There are a couple of accessory buildings that will be removed as per the site plan. The applicant is proposing a 1,200 square feet garage with a maximum height of just under 18 feet. The proposal is increasing the combined area and height that do not meet the requirements for seasonal residential zone. We circulated this application to different departments of the RM. We did not receive any objection on this proposal. If the council wishes to approve this application, Red River Planning recommends 2 conditions. Number 1, this variance is limited to increased combined area and height for an accessory structure as proposed in the site plan within this application. Any changes in use, replacement, or further additions may require new variance approval. Number 2, the applicant owner obtains all the required permits from the Red River Planning District. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions? Mr. Forfar, do you want to explain something?
My name's Rob Wilford, that's the property the wife itself bought this summer. Has no garage and we just want to clean it up, take down the other accessory building. And create a garage, we've been a full classic car hobby for years. That's why I want the height to have a quick car wash. Outside that, I want 1,200 square feet, so I have room to take down these accessory buildings right now, hold my lawnmower. You know, the kind of, all the stuff we have in many buildings, I should say. And so really that's our plan, is to more beautify our property and make it more usable. Appreciate your attention. If there's any questions, you're more than happy to answer. I think you've got your letter I sent, that's part of the package. And so it's pretty straightforward. I'm just building a garage. 1,200 square feet, that's 18 feet high. 17 and a half actually.
One question. Any future plans that this is be used for like a business with the carboys, or just all for personal use?
Oh, personal. We have classic cars, we have 2 classic cars.
Just make sure none of the neighbors are yelling at you about this or anything.
No, in fact, the neighbor to the north of me is way supportive because he wants me to block the wind and snow from blowing in his driveway. So he's really supportive.
Okay.
And the neighbors to the south are very supportive too, and they're actually friends are going for comfort.
Okay.
Give me no problem.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No. Patsy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is variance application VO3 2023. The subject property is located at 6115 PBH 9A. The applicant wishes to vary the height for an accessory structure in the rural residential zone. This is the zoning compliance table. As you can see, the applicant wishes to increase the height from the required 15 feet to a maximum height of 20 feet 9 inches. This is the location map. As you can see, the property gains access from Highway 9. These are the renderings that were provided by the applicant. The maximum height has been marked in red for council's consideration. As I said before, the applicant is proposing a 1,200 square feet garage, which is just over 20 feet. The height does not meet the rural residential zoning requirements. We circulated this application to various departments within the RM. We did not receive any objections. If the council wishes to approve this variance, we recommend 2 conditions. Number 1, this variance is limited to increased height of an accessory structure as proposed within this application. Any changes in use, replacement, or further additions may require new variance approval. Number 2, the applicant owner obtains all the required permits from the Red River Planning District. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions for Mr. Singh?
I have one question. Is that a flat roof on the drawing?
I can show this. It's not a flat roof. This is at an angle here. So this is going here, but the measurement is from the maximum point.
Okay, so it's the roof is flat, but just on an angle then?
Right, yeah,
Okay, it's not a peak.
no.
I have a question too. On this page, it says the proposed is 20 feet 9 inches. But then the letter of intent says 18 feet wall height, so kind of wondering what the height of the building is gonna be.
Right, so the bylaw says that in case there's a different type of roof structures, you measure it from the maximum point. In the letter of intent, I believe they're talking about the wall. But when we apply for a variance, we vary it to the maximum that is allowed. So to the highest point.
Questions? Robert, want to say something? After if you don't want to.
Oh, I'm the builder, so the mean height is, gonna be 18 feet wall height, and then 2 foot truss cord brings us up to 20'9" with the roof and the steel. And just standard 2 foot overhangs. All the neighbors have been notified that he's building this, they're all supportive of it. He has a good tie-in, and, other than that, if there's any other questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
It's not for a business, is it? They're gonna become for a business down the road, is that the plan, or?
No, he owns a building in Winnipeg, that's his primary business. So that's separate from his house.
So this is just for personal?
This is for all his personal, cars and boats and, whatever.
Wait,
Place, yeah, exactly.
So it's essentially a storage building.
Yeah.
Is a concrete floor.
Concrete and floor heat floor.
So why the height requirement?
The height is up to him for not being limited to what he can do. If he wants to put a hoist in, or if he wants to, with boats or he has a fifth wheel, I believe. So I mean, just working on, he just doesn't want to be limited to it, and for continuity between his house and the building, it's great. As he has a 2-story dwelling on his property, so.
so the driveway comes off number 9 and the building's going behind the house?
Um,
Am I reading that right? I'm not very good
Yeah.
with directions.
yeah, just slightly behind, so the very back corner is in line with the front corner of the shop.
I'm not gonna drive down the highway and see this nice big building with a nice house tucked behind the corner.
You won't, yeah, you'll still see it, but I mean, it's a quick shot.
So it'll follow that north driveway in?
Yeah, straight through, just.
No more questions? I think we have one more, Mr. Singh.
Yes, that is not subject to public. Hearing.
Okay.
You might want to close it.
Okay. Be resolved that council hereby close the public hearings for February 14th, 23 planning applications. Go mover.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Before we go any further here, since Mayor Saul is not available, we should have a resolution that Mayor Saul is excused from the public hearing. Unfortunately, I should have done that a little bit earlier. Can we have a mover on that?
Like,
Seconder?
Ricky.
All right. Resolution 3.4. Whereas the applicant, owner of tax roll number 517455 has made application for variance order number 129-2022 for the premises described as lot 11, plan 1154937 Palmer Road. The purpose to vary the combined area and height for accessory structures. Now therefore be resolved that variation order number 129-2022 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions. This variance is limited to increased combined area, height for accessory structure proposed in the site plan within this application. Any change in use, replacement, or further additions may require a new variance approval. Number 2, applicant owner obtain all required permits from the Red River Planning District Office. Can I get a mover?
I'll move that variation order.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution for decision of variance order number 3-2023, whereas the applicant owner of the tax roll number 317140 has made the application for variance order number 3-2023 for the premises described as Lot 3, Plat 15803, 6115, Provincial Trunk Highway number 9A. Purpose to vary the height of accessory structures. Now therefore be resolved that variation order number 3-2023 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions. This variance is limited to increased height of an accessory structure as proposed within this application. Any change in use, replacement, or further additions may require new variance approval. Number 2, the applicant owner obtain all required permits from the Red River Planning District Office. Can I get a mover, please? Seconder? All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item 3.6, subdivision number S22-2983, 965 Ponemah Road, non-public hearing. Resolved that proposed subdivision number S22-2983 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions. 1, applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from the municipality stating that A, taxes on the land to be subdivided for the current year plus any arrears have been paid or arrangements satisfactory to council have been made. 1B, payment of any capital development levies has been made. 2, applicant owner submits written confirmation to the Red River Planning Board, to our RRPD for Manitoba Hydro that an easement agreement has been entered into with Manitoba Hydro Inc. with respect to existing and or future facilities associated with the subdivision, and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided. Registration of this agreement will be included as a condition of the final certificate of approval through Manitoba Hydro. Number 3, the applicant owner obtained variance for the undersized lots. Can I get a mover?
Excuse me. I believe we still have to hear from the planner on details on this.
I'm sorry, Second. Sorry about that.
You guys can go now. Okay. So you sit there.
I like you wanna hang out.
Kind of.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is subdivision application. Still on the one. Here we go. This is subdivision application as 222983. The subject property is located at 965 Ponemah Road. The applicant wishes to subdivide and create one lot for future single-family residential development in the agriculture general zone. This is the zoning requirement table. The applicant is proposing a lot that is about 20 acres and that will leave a residual lot of 96 acres. The proposed lot will not be in compliance with the zoning requirements because the minimum requirements are 80 acres. This is the location map. As you can see, the property fronts Ponemah Road. This is the subdivision application map provided by the applicant. The applicant wishes to subdivide the portion of the property that are under trees. As I said before, the total area of the property is about 116 acres, and applicant wishes to subdivide a 20-acre lot, resulting in a residual lot about 96 acres. If approved, the applicant will be required to obtain a variance for the proposed lot to comply with the zoning requirements. We circulated this application to various provincial agencies and departments. We did not receive any objections on this proposal. If the council wishes to approve this application, Red River Planning recommends 3 conditions that are reflecting on the screen and mentioned in section 10 of the report. Thank you. If the council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I have one question.
Councilor Hunt?
Mr. Planner, can they not apply for a variance at the same time they apply for the subdivision? Was that option given to them?
They can, but that kind of depends on the applicant. I don't believe they applied for a variance or
Okay.
they even know about this. But yes, they can apply for a variance at the same time.
But we've had that in the past where we've had a subdivision and they've applied, and then by chance the subdivision was defeated, then that hearing for the variance is not heard then.
Right, exactly. So the variance is about $1,400. So if you apply at the same time and if the subdivision gets rejected, then you spend the money on
Right.
the application.
It's a gamble, yeah, so, but you are recommending approval of this subdivision, correct?
Yes, yes, we are.
Okay. Thank you.
There are policies for resource and agriculture designation that supports this kind of subdivision.
Thank you.
It was my understanding this is just for one house going up, isn't it?
Yes, there's gonna be a
Kind of like
house.
family thing, like here, you can have 20 acres and build your house there on a farm.
Exactly, yes.
That's what that.
Any other questions? Would you like me to read the resolution one more time to make it official? Again, item 3.6 subdivision number S 22-2983, 965 Ponemah Road. Resolved that the proposed subdivision number S 22-2983 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions. Applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from the municipality stating that taxes on the land to be subdivided for the current year, plus any arrears have been made or arrangements satisfactory to council have been made. Payment of any capital development levies have been made. Applicant owner submits written confirmation to RRPD for Manitoba Hydro that an easement agreement has been entered into with Manitoba Hydro Inc. with respect to existing and or future facilities associated with the subdivision, and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided. Registration of this agreement will be included as a condition of the final certificate of approval. The applicant owner obtained variance for the undersized lots. Can you get a mover?
I'll move for the application of subdivision.
Councillor Hunt. Seconded by Councillor Mondor. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That would be it for our planning portion of the meeting.
Is there anything else council needs from you today? No. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. So we'll move to item number 4. The adoption of the minutes, agenda 4.1, the draft January 24th, 2022 council meeting minutes. Resolved that council adopt the January 24th, 2022 council minutes as presented. It should be almost 2023.
2023, yeah.
2023. Resolved that council adopt the January 24th, 2023 council minutes as presented. Can I get a mover, please? Councilor Mondor. Seconder. Councilor Markey. All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 5. Bylaws and policies. Resolved that council gives second reading to bylaw number 4377, being the organizational bylaw as presented. Can I get a mover? Councilor Spiker.
I'll second.
Hunt. Any discussion on the bylaws and policies? No. Councilor Spiker.
I put forward that we table this motion until new CAO has taken over and the mayor is back.
I second that.
Everyone in favor of that? For which date would you want to table it to?
I would say probably just to be on the safe side, it's meeting what? I would say the first meeting in March, but just because I don't know how long the mayor will be out. But we will have a no CAO with that.
When's the next meeting in March? Which, Mr. Fensky,
Your worship, just to point out, a tabling motion is not debatable.
I'm sorry, what?
Tabling motion is not debatable.
so we pick a date.
You just pick a date.
Oh,
We have the March date to be next council meeting in first
March 14th, your worship.
March 14th.
I just also would like to point out that there are changes that were not done on this portion of the attachment that are still not what we agreed upon. So therefore, I think that would just all be better to wait for the new CAO and the mayor to come back.
Okay, so we can table this to March 14th. 2023. And that is for both the organizational and the procedure bylaw.
Correct.
We need a resolution for that, Mr. Fenske?
You already got, it, your worship. I understand that the tabling was for both. That was the intent.
Okay, so we can move on. It's not debatable. Do we still need to vote for that, Mr. Fenske?
Yes, you do, your worship. The motion would simply read that items number 5.1 and 5.2 be tabled until March 14th.
Resolve the council give second reading to the bylaw number 4377 and procedure bylaw 4379 to March 14th, 2023.
Worship. Slightly, the actual resolution on the table is the tabling resolution. The other one does not matter.
Okay. So resolve that we table to March 14th, 2023.
That's correct, your worship.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 6, approval of accounts. Check detail report. Resolve that council approve the February 10th, 2023 check detail report as presented. Can I get a mover, please? Councilor Mondor. Seconder, Councilor Morecki. All in favor?
Aye.
Check detail report. Municipality.
You didn't give us a chance to ask questions.
Mr. Fenske, since we've carried this check detail report, Councilor Schleicher had some questions.
We've already carried it, your worship.
Thank you. Correspondence for action. I think everyone has seen that already. Is there anything anyone wants to talk about? Let's see what we got here. We got item number 8, the CL. Resolve that Mayor Sol and Councilor Mondor and Morecki be authorized to attend the CLI Manitoba's Betting on Our Shared Future Forum, which is being held on March 17th, 2023 in Winnipeg. Gonna move her. Mondor.
I'll second. I'll second.
Councilor Hunt. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Item number 8.2. RBC Fish Dinner Fundraising Gala, March 22nd, 2023 in West St. Paul. Resolve that council authorize the purchase of a table for $595 at the RBC North Chapter Fish Dinner Fundraising Gala to be held in the R of West St. Paul on March 22nd, 2023. And further that Mayor Sullivan, Councilor Spiegelkorn, Councilor Mondor, Councilor Dornbos, Councilor Morecki, and Councilor Schleicher be authorized to attend. Can we get a mover on that? Councilor Mondor. Seconder. Morecki. All in favor?
Aye.
Correspondence, excuse me, correspondence for information. Is there any questions or comments on anything that had to go through there?
I have a comment on,
Sir Hunt?
I have a comment on 9.4, so the Manitoba Good Roads. So I don't know if anyone's let their intentions know if they're going to the banquet where we will be receiving 2 awards that evening. One for best maintained road and one for best most improved. And then there's a possibility for us to win the provincial cup, which there's 5 districts within Manitoba for the Manitoba Good Roads. So please, if you're going to be going, and also usually we send some 2 or 3 or 4 people from Public Works, so that should be sent to them because there's a trade show the next day as well. The other thing is at this, there is AGM after, or the AGM in the afternoon of, I believe, the day of the banquet. I've been a board member for the Manitoba Good Roads for, I guess, 8 years now. I'd like to seek re-election again. It involves, I do judging. That involves 2 days, and as well as there's 1 or 2 meetings throughout the year, so that elections take place prior to, or at the AGM prior to the banquet that evening. So.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Didn't we decide upon that the last time with the
About
public
the
works?
dinner?
Yeah, the public works guy.
Yeah, I think there was gonna be some public works people wanted to do, but that's April 3rd in the evening, right after the AMM, right? Yeah. I think there was a bunch that were gonna be going, what I know, but I think Janet said that they weren't, they didn't have the registration as of yet, from what I know. No one else finished, all the unfinished. Oh, go ahead.
9.5.1.
Yeah.
I would like to attend that if I could, since I've somewhat attended most of the Red River Basin meetings since being elected. What was that? 9.5.1.
I don't have 5.1, I got 9.6.
I got 9.5, Gordon Howard Center.
No, our BC North Chapter.
Oh.
It's 9.6. Yeah.
Is it 9.5.1?
That's February 22nd. We start a resolution for that right now, Mr. Flinsky,
Sorry, your worship.
for attachment 9.6, the RRBC North Chapter AGM. Councillor Mondor would like to attend that. Do we need a resolution for attendance?
Should we, that your worship?
Pardon me?
Yes, you would.
Should we do that now?
Would certainly be the appropriate time, your worship.
Let me get it in here. So, oh, I see what you're saying there. Councilor Martin, 9.51, I have that here too. Agenda item 9.6. Resolved that Councilor Mondor attend the Red River Basin Commission Manitoba North Chapter AGM February 22nd, 2023 at 7 o'clock in East St. Paul, Manitoba. Can I get a mover? Councilor Schleicher, seconder. Councilor Zrecki. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Agenda item number 11, new business, no new business, 11.1, here we go. Request for decision 2023 road renewals contract. I believe that there will be some questions on this.
I think we missed something. It wasn't on the agenda. I'm sorry.
Sorry, what was that?
There was an email sent around today about the AMM, February 24th.
That's 9.7.
Is it 9.7?
Mhm.
I don't have that on my thing.
The elected municipal officials education session.
Yeah.
Oh, that came from Tim late this afternoon, correct? Okay.
And I think it needs to be decided upon because the deadline is
Who wants to go to that?
Yeah.
Is this an attendant or is this Zoom?
There's either 2 days or 3 days,
Oh, there's
one
3 days.
in person.
Okay, virtually in March, okay, and the other Friday, February 24th in Winnipeg. You're interested in attending that?
Yeah, I'd like to go if I could.
Anyone else would like to attend that?
Isn't it the same thing as the first thing we went to and what they bought?
No, this isn't from George Cup, this is AMN.
Mr. Fensky, you know anything about this? In your
I
experience?
have an understanding of the presentation that was done to Mr. Cuff. I have never seen this presentation, and unfortunately, there was no detail in it. I'm suspecting this would be more on an administrative, structured, or a governance level, but best guess on my part.
They did have an agenda on their email, like what they were going to present.
I never even got a chance to look at your email.
Looked interesting.
Oh, see, I don't have this as a resolution. It's late, so.
It does say elected municipal officials education session, so. Elected,
Yeah,
Yeah, it talks about behavior, conduct,
That's the last thing on the day, but
yeah, the governance meetings.
You want to attend that, Mr. Mondo?
yeah, but
Anyone else want to attend?
yeah.
Elected municipal education center?
Worship, I just had noted, it's very much an orientation. Now, I don't know if that orientation means it's the same as Mr. Cuff's or not. I would think it would be similar.
I don't know.
Did you want to wait till next year?
Okay. Doesn't matter. I just thought it looked interesting for someone that's just new to the role, so I thought it would be just something else to solidify what we're trying to do. So,
Would also, your worship, be, I would think, relative to the province of Manitoba?
Instead of, federally.
Why do we make a resolution for 2 members of council? Because this is for February 24th. Next meeting's not till the February 28th. And we can, register in a few days if we have to. At least the resolution is there. So, and if we don't register, there's no harm.
Sure. Councilor Mondor, you're interested in going? Anyone else? Councilor Markey?
So I would move 2 members of council then, and then, like I say, we can decide next week, whatever, when we get some more information on, at least the resolution has been done. And I'll move that.
Resolved that it's agenda 9.6 RBC North Chapter AGMs, February 22nd, 23 in East St. Paul. 2 attendees, Councilor Mondor and Councilor Marecki. Is it 9.7? Sorry.
Oh, that's at Victoria Inn.
I can see this one on here. So 9.7, my apologies. And yeah. So agenda 9.7 AMM education sessions. Resolved that Councilor Mondor and Councilor Marecki attend February 24th. Move it.
I move.
Councilor Hunt, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Item number 11, new business. 11.1, 2023 road renewals contract award. Before we get into this, I know Ron's here. Did anyone have anything to talk to Ron about, or any comments?
Yeah, I just have a comment here. Well, first of all, thanks, Ron, for showing up. That's very good of you to attend this council meeting. The road renewal contract is the largest financial commitment this council has made to date, in keeping with the council's commitment of transparency. We'd like to have you here to answer some specific questions. And again, give the residents an overview of the process used in developing this particular request for decision.
Sure.
You have the floor.
All right, well, thanks for that, for inviting me, and I sent council members an email. I don't know if I can link in them to show the screen and share the screen. Can I do that quickly?
Yes, you can. So if you join the Zoom meeting, then you can just share your screen from the Zoom meeting.
Okay, so
Do you have the link for the Zoom meeting?
No. Just wondered if anybody had a chance to read any of the attachments I sent. There was a response to the questions that were asked. I can review those in while we wait here from Tim. So section C5 of our tender document, which is 70 pages long, outlines the role of the contract administrator. So it starts off with investigating the roads and doing an assessment. Part of that assessment, there's a PowerPoint that I attached as well that laid out the process for that, doing those road assessments, and they're based on road classification and our grading system, of 1 being an excellent road and 5 being a very poor road. So we typically upgrade and need to renew roads that are a rating of 4 or 5. And then further development goes into once a list of roads has been shortlisted, then some detailed design goes into developing the scope of work for the tender document. This entails surveying the road for more accurate dimensions and quantities, and then creating CAD drawings for each road, outlining to the contractors what is required as far as rehabilitating that road. So there's reconstructing a road is taking it down to the sub base. So there's 3 layers of a paved road. There's a sub base, a base, and the pavement section. So there are road standards, construction standards that were developed in 2017 that outline 300 millimeter sub base of 4-inch limestone, then a 150 millimeter base of 3/4 limestone, and then on top of that, you may even, or between those 2 layers, you may even have a geogrid or a layer of a matting that goes down, and especially on collector or arterial or heavily driven roads, we would do that. And then you would put a 3-inch layer of asphalt on top of that. So historically, roads were built when by digging the ditches on both sides and then that material going to the middle. And then over time, gravel was added to those roads. And then years later, we're asked to pave those roads, and they're don't have a really good foundational sub base and base for that pavement to withstand that traffic. So you'll see cracking happening very quickly. So a lot of times we need to fully reconstruct that road, especially roads that were built, 20 plus years ago, or even 10 years ago, so that these roads now last 25 to 30 years. Roads that are better condition, we have 3 methods of maintenance, whether it's cold mix patching, emulsified patching, we rent a patch truck to do that, and also crack sealing patches. So those 3 methods keep the roads, extend the useful life of those roads longer than not doing anything. And for every dollar you spend fixing or maintaining a road, you're saving $6 to reconstruct it. So it's really important to do that maintenance, but these roads don't last forever, and eventually they need to be rebuilt. So rather than just putting another layer of asphalt on top, they may need to be rebuilt 5 years later if nothing else is done with it, besides doing more reconstruction. So a lot of the roads, so what we try to do is base last year's budget money, design roads until we get to that value that we estimate based on last year's actuals. We tender that, and this year with the cost of everything else and inflation, those cost estimates were low in this go around. So the tenders came in quite a bit higher. The lowest bidder was Wintech, so we're recommending that the roads get that we award this contract this year to Wintech, who was the lowest bidder that met the qualifications and the specifications.
Councillor Hughes.
Ron, with the road repairs, is drainage looked at as well, whether culverts need to be repaired, replaced, or additional culverts added?
Absolutely. Those are defined. Ideally, a lot of times we'll do that a year ahead so that we get some compaction of that, especially if it's a cross culvert. But if the culvert is replaced in that same year, we make sure that the contractors are compacting the gravel and sand around it so that it doesn't sink down. So yeah, that is looked at as part of that process for sure.
Councillor Wonder.
I was wondering what the other bids were and how much lower this one was as compared to the others.
Well, in the meeting agenda minutes, there is the bid results. One of the attachments that's got the 8 bidders listed.
They're in the package, yes.
Okay.
Councillor Wonder.
Yeah, I got it.
Councillor Slate.
Have we used Wintec to do this previously in the RM for an entire contract?
Yeah, yes, yeah, and they've been very good. I believe they had the work last year and they're great to work with.
Their work is,
Their work is top notch, yes.
I was just wondering, can you explain just we'd use if perhaps if the contractor is in non-compliance of their contract?
Sure. Well, in the tender, there's a security performance section and they have to meet substantial performance and then ultimately total performance. But then once warranty comes into play and they don't say they don't come back to honor that warranty work, then we can go after them through the bid bond process and the performance security through the person. Then they need to supply that bid bond as part of their tender submission.
Do you know what the bid bond is for this one?
It's in the contract. It's about 50% of the total cost. I can reference the tender document here.
Councillor Hunt, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I have some comments. First of all, Ron, thank you for all these answers and thank you for your due diligence and your team and doing all the tendering. The only comment I have, and I've been asking and saying this for years, if you go to C5, like number 1 and C5, and on the third bullet, like it talks about the process, about how you identify the roads. And then the second bullet is your research on construction methods, materials that are best suited for roads, tried and tested. But the third one, it says next hold a pre-construction meeting. I've always been asking why we can't do a pre-tender meeting. It should be required for these contractors to meet with your team on site on these roads in September, October, to go over what we want, to come up with ideas. They're the guys that are in the business that know roads. Not saying our guys don't, but they do it every day. Maybe a different method, a new method out. Maybe not to rebuild that road, because some of the roads I don't think have real bad sub-base failure, just surface failure. But it should be a prerequisite that they have a pre-tender meeting to go over those same comments. Representatives to go over all details of the project, go over the contracts to ensure they understand the scope of the work and every other section of the contract documents, and let them know what we expect. They can answer, they can ask any questions, we can answer, we can ask questions. It's very hard for these estimators, I would believe anyway, to sit in their office in February or January to go over without seeing the roads, without seeing the pictures, without seeing the scope of the work. I just think we'd get a more knowledgeable tender maybe, or more knowledgeable, and making ourselves more knowledgeable too, and making the contractors and the estimators more knowledgeable when they tender the work, that they have seen it, they know what is entailed, so there's no extras, and no surprises when they dig down. And because I know what we've done in the past, some of the contractors have requested us to do some test holes on that road to see what the base is like. I know they do that with the test holes, but also on a failure part, they may want to see the test on it, So I would like to see that in the future, that they have a pre-tender meeting. and make it compulsory. Like most places do when you're tendering something, you have to be on site to be able to tender it, to go over, ask any questions. Our team can show the contractors what they need, what we're expecting of it, and what we're looking to get out of the road, and ask questions, and it's on both sides. And I think that would be doing our due diligence the best if our money is well spent then when we do that, And then the other comment I have is also looking in the budget, when we do a budget, looking for a part in the budget for road betterment, from gravel to hard surface upgrade. Because all these roads that we're doing now, and like Ron says, this is the second or third time some of these roads have been done, but some of them are 30 years old plus. So a lot of these residents, and good for them, have had hard surface roads to drive on for 20, 30 years, And some of the roads, I think it's just a surface failure, whereas maybe 90% of the road, the sub base is okay, And Ron mentioned it about the class of road that we use. Like you have an RTAC road that takes, 80,000 pounds, and then you have those are our arterial roads. We have residential roads that, a tandem load of topsoil may go down it, a couple of times a year, and the garbage trucks and that. So not real heavy loads, so they don't need to be built to those standards. So as long as we have different standards in our specs for different areas, which I think there is, but I'd like them looked at again to make sure we're not, overkill on a road. So that's my comments.
Thanks, Councillor Hunt. Anyone else? No one? I guess my only concern, typically, do we give this tender, award this tender before the budget's even shown? Like, how do we?
Yes,
We do?
we do. So this is part of that process, right? So you're almost pre-approving that budget. So I budgeted for the 1.9 million already. If council changes that number, then we change the budget amount when it comes to you in a month or so.
There was 600,000 coming from the gas tax reserve.
That's right. And that's has been done in the past several years.
Do we know how much is in the gas tax reserve at present, Tim?
I do. I don't have that number with me, but I can tell you it's over 1.6 million.
Any other questions? No?
Just one here, can you explain the role of the contract administrator? That would be Chad. I know he's not here today, but what exactly is his role?
Well, Section C5 in the tender has that information laid out. I copied it and I don't know what happened in the email, but it's changed the C5 to B10 for some reason, but everything in that document outlines the role of the tender, the contractor or the contract administrator, I guess. Let me just go scroll to the end. So basically, the contract administrator is the RM's representative throughout the duration of the contract and shall have authority to act on behalf of the RM to the extent expressly provided in the contract. So interpret or clarifies the contract to the contractor, correct errors or omissions in the contract, or issue additional drawings or specifications. Inspections, so may examine or inspect the work. We do daily inspections and weekly, so we have daily and weekly reports that get filled out. Give instructions or orders to the contractors to the extent that may be necessary. Things might change on the road, in the field once they open something up. Maybe there's a unforeseen there, and that's what a contingency is for, so that there's money in the budgets and we have a 10% contingency.
Okay, so would he be reporting to council on a timely basis from time to time, or We wouldn't really get anything till the end of the contract.
In the past, that hasn't been done, but there certainly could be more of that if council desires that to happen this year. Sure.
Right, okay, that's something that would probably, I think council should take under advisement and like.
So the contractors basically bill on a monthly basis progress payments. So those, when they submit a progress payments, our engineering aides are out there surveying for the quantities. And then they, the contractors give the tickets of what they've delivered. And that's just used as a check to make, because the overriding one is a surveying based on actual volumes measured, whether it's base, sub-base material or the pavement. And then as progress payment gets issued, and those progress payments would come to council during the months of June, July, and August to pay the contractor for the work that's already been done. So there is that part of it as well, the whole billing process.
I have no further questions. I just want to thank you for coming and explaining this to myself, the council, and the residents. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And feel free to read some of the articles or attachments that I made to the email. It lays out quite a comprehensive process, because again, this is a lot of money that's being spent every year, and it's one of our main assets in the municipality that the RM is on an annual basis, maintains and makes sure there are safe roads to drive in the RM.
Mhm.
Good. So for agenda item 11.1 RFD 2023 road renewals contract award, whereas request for tender RFT 2023-02 for the 2023 road renewals contract was advertised on MERC's and the RM website. And whereas 9 bids were received and evaluated in the tender process, and whereas Wintech Building Services Inc. was the lowest bidder, meeting specifications at a cost of $0.723 for $1,723,427. And whereas a 10% contingency has been added to the bid amount by Public Works. Therefore, be it resolved that council accept the bid submission for RFT 2023-02 2023 road renewals from Wintech Building Services Inc. plus a 10% contingency, and approve the total road renewals budget cost of $1.9 million. And further be it resolved that $600,000 be funded from the gas tax reserve fund. Can I get a mover, please? Councilor Mondor. Seconder, Councilor Hunt. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Item 11, agenda item 11.2, Rossdale Hall compensation. Resolved that council authorize compensation to the Rossdale Hall in the amount of $300 for use of their facility for the council swearing-in ceremony. Can I get a mover?
No, but I've got comments for it before you fly it through.
Can I get a mover, please? Councilor Beeblecorn. Seconder, Councilor Mondor. Comments? Councilor Stryker.
Okay, I just want to bring to everyone's attention that inauguration ceremony that we had, we did not shop around to offer that to anybody else. It was Rockdale Hall, that's where we went, like, Ponemah didn't get a chance to, no one else did, and we own a lot of little halls. The majority, everything that went on there was personally paid for by the mayor and myself. So $300 to the hall is crazy in my humble opinion. I'm fine with maybe $100, but that would be it. Granted that the hall, the ladies went in and cleaned it up because it had been closed for COVID and everything. I did a little research today. There was money from all the COVID money that was paid out that all these little halls and places could apply for to help. Well, they couldn't be used. But $300, I think, is a slap in the face to every other little hall that the RM takes care of as well. Just my personal opinion.
Any other comments? Councilor Beeblecorn.
I don't have an issue with the trend, but is there kind of a detail as to that 300 is compensated.
I think it's compensated for the rental of the hall, and I believe they had coffee and tea and
Supplied it,
who supplied it?
Mayor and I.
The mayor and you?
I would be fine had we went to Clandeboy and said, hey, could you have it here? How much would you charge? How much? Like, that would have been fine. We did not do that. We went straight to Rockdale Hall, and it was my understanding because they wouldn't charge us. This is a donation being made on behalf of council. It's not, there's no bill, there's nothing else. I'm fine with $100 donation, but I feel awful. $300 and nobody else got an opportunity. I just think that that's not fair to all the other people.
Would it be fair to split it in half?
No, I got $100, but that's just me.
Councilor Hunt?
So is there a detail for this compensation? Like, is there something that they had written down for detail so we know what it's for? And this,
The donation.
no,
Not that I know of. I think it was just a donation for, thank you very much for the hall. Thanks for cleaning it up. Thanks for having us there. That's my
Yeah.
understanding.
I know COVID money was only reimbursed if they had receipts, so, you know, they always have volunteers cleaning the halls and lots of volunteer work, so there was no compensation from COVID money for those kind of halls that didn't have receipts from actual people doing the cleaning. You know, they're a small hall. I have no problem with the $300. And in the future, we'll just ask some halls, whatever, you know, it's too late now not to, if that's what they're asking for, I got no problem giving it to them.
So how do you tell Little Britain and all the rest of them when they come knocking at the door? You donated to Rockdale. Where's my donation?
Well, we just do it on a case basis, I guess.
Well, this was.
Deal with it then.
This was for a service. The hall people's provided a service to council, and I'm okay with $300.
So we've got two move, we've got a mover, we've got a seconder, all in favor?
All right,
Favor of what?
Just giving the hall $300? Okay, carried.
all right.
Agenda item 11.3, RFD credit card for the mayor. Whereas Mayor Sol requires a corporate credit card for use on RM business. And whereas the administration corporate credit card has a balance of $50,000 that can be transferred to a new credit card issued to Mayor Sol. Therefore, be it resolved that Mayor Sol be issued a corporate credit card with a credit limit of $10,000 and administration's corporate credit card limit be amended from $50,000 to $40,000. Can I get a mover, please? Councilor Slaker, seconder Councilor Mondor.
Can I ask some questions?
Yep.
Why is it $50,000? Seems like an awful lot of money. Credit card for the RN, $50,000.
Credit limit of $50,000 for a credit card.
Seems like a lot for someone to just make that decision without input from, maybe from us.
Mr. Fenske.
Your worship, when counselors go on trips, book hotel rooms, plane trips, all that, credit card is used because it's processed through here. It's not billed. The amount is to cover off at least 2 to 3 months because the bill comes in, or is spent, it gets paid, but during the period of time, the credit card is going down. It's also used for a number of other purposes by the administration, and you see them in the credit card bill. If you want the details, they can be provided at that time. The reduction to 50 is before it was always the mayor was processed the same as council. And the request of the mayor was, as most mayors in Manitoba, to be able to host things or go to things and not have to use your personal credit card.
Councilor Slater.
Just a little off here. Are we asking for 2 separate credit cards? So the mayor has one and then the RM has one, or is it the same credit card with 2 cards, same credit card account with 2 cards off of it?
It's The account wise, it's the same account. It's two credit cards. One that the administration uses and one that the mayor has in her possession.
But we're only applying for one specific card.
So it's, if I can be clear on this, so if I have a credit card and my wife wants a credit card, I can get a credit card for her, which has a lesser amount.
But
So my
Still
understanding
attached
is
to your main
still,
credit card.
still attached to main credit card. So administration has a credit limit now of 40,000 and Mayor Sol will have a credit limit of $10,000. But the bank will give you a $50,000 credit limit. You're just.
Okay, that's my question. That's what I didn't understand.
More questions? All in favor? Carried.
Aye.
No in-camera items and we can move to adjournment. All the council meeting be adjourned at 6:06 p.m. Mover. Council Corn. Seconder. Councilor Mondor. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. That concludes our meeting.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Recording
you.
stopped.
Good job.